Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do a nail video with a peel off polish. This ready for takeoff polish will allow you to peel off gel polish, dip powder. Haven't tried acrylic, but from what I've seen, it does allow you to peel off your gel polish, and it does allow you to peel off or break off your dip powder. So I already have jelly tips on my natural nails. I didn't want to try this on my natural nails, so I went on and put jelly tips. Check out any of my other videos where I've used jelly tips for how to do the process step by step. So I did use these Kiara Sky jelly tips. These are the square jelly tips. However, for me, they still were a little bit too long, so I went on and cut them down a little bit with my nail clippers. But you can see here a little bit on how long that they naturally are compared to where I cut them. And you just want to make sure when you're sizing your jelly tips that you have a decent size around your cuticle area and your side walls. So here I am going to show you guys how to take that shiny layer off. I am using my Kiara Sky drill with a sanding drill bit. I am going to sand the full cover of the jelly tips, and then you want to make sure you get those side walls and around the cuticle area. Now for this video with the ready to take off peelable base, we are going to use that with dip powder. And I have tried this with gel polish, so I know it does work. Disclaimer, if you use a peelable base with your gel polish and then you're in the pool all day or in a body of water all day, your gel polish will start to lift. So that is a disclaimer from what I have seen using this peelable base. Don't use it on gel, underneath gel polish, and then go be in a body of water all day. It will start to peel. So now I'm just going to do the first layer of the peelable base on top of the Kiara Sky jelly tips. For the jelly tips, I decided to pretty much cover almost the whole jelly tip. I did leave I would say a small space from the cuticle wall, just because I wanted to have some type of security when using the peelable base. You can cover your entire nail with the peelable base, but for me, I wanted to have an area where I know it's not going to lift, and that's at the cuticle. I didn't want my dip powder to lift at all. So you want to make sure that you gauge where you want to place your peelable base. If you want to cover the whole nail, you can. It will make it easier when you're getting ready to take off whatever you have on top of it. If you want a little longevity, I would say don't put it directly where the cuticle wall is, and maybe leave an area on your side walls. So now we're going to start the process of our dip powder. You want to apply your dip powder per usual. The only difference is you're going to start with step 2, which is the base, and you're going to apply that base right on top of the peelable polish. And then you want to go ahead and dip your fingernail into the dip powder. For jelly tips, I like to do my first layer about a hairline to 2 hairlines, or about 2 centimeters from the cuticle, just because I don't like them to be bulky. And with the jelly tips, you already have some type of structure on top of your nail, so you have a little girth already, and then it gives you that curve that you already need for your apex. So that's why I don't like to start 3/4 and then going to the hairline and then doing a 3rd layer. I like to do 2 layers of application of dip powder on top of the jelly tips, just so I have a natural finish. And with this pink, I didn't want it to be too dark, so that is why I am probably going to only do 2 layers of the pink, with the first layer being about 1 centimeter to 2 centimeters from the cuticle area. once you are finished with that, you can go ahead and dust your nails. Make sure you always dust between applications because you don't want your base to get dirty. You don't want to have dip powder within your base bottle. So make sure you're always dusting your nails. This base bottle, I like to get as much product as I can out of any products I'm using. So this bottle was on the last leg. So if you ever have that happen, just tip your bottle to the side to get that polish or that base on your brush. Once you have finished your second application, make sure you dust your nails off and then go ahead with a coat of Seal Protect. Make sure you get your full nail and then encapsulate the top or the free edge of your nail with the Seal Protect just to make sure that it hardens every part of your nail. Once you are finished with this, you want to do it on both hands, and then we can start the filing process. I'm going to show you guys how I file and drill my dip powder on top of jelly tips. It's pretty similar to what I do on a natural nail, but I have found it to be a lot easier to file dip powder on jelly tips just because your surface is already shaped and smooth and in the curve that you want it. That I found that the application with dip powder on jelly tips is way easier. My application is already somewhat not perfect, but pretty close to perfect. So I don't have a lot of drilling and filing to do. So I'm going to take my 80 grit file just to smooth out those sidewalls and to shape my free edge. My free edge is already shaped how I want it, but it's just to get that dip powder smooth out on those sidewalls in that free edge. And you want to make sure you do this to every nail. If you are going to go in with a nail file on top of your nails, you can do that. Or if you have an e-file, you can use your e-file or your drill. I like to use my drill with a sanding bit when I finish dip powder on top of jelly tips, because it gives me a smooth finish. It really smooths out the dip powder without taking away a lot of powder. I found that a sanding bit doesn't take away a lot of powder on a low setting, but it also smooths out any bumps or grooves that you might have within your dip powder. And so once you're finished with that, you want to go ahead and dust off any dust that you have left on your nails. And for this application, you want to use your Seal and Protect again. You always seal and protect after you drill or after you file your dip powder, especially if you're using the Kiara Sky's top coat, which I am using here, the dip powder top coat. You have to always seal protect beforehand. So with Kiara Sky's dip powder top coat, you want to do a first layer. Your first layer, you want to just do 3 to 4 strokes just to cover the entire nail. This is not to perfect the shine or to perfect the top layer, but this is just to get that first layer down, and then your second layer of top coat will be where you perfect and get each area of your nail. So now that we are on our second layer, after your first layer has completely dried, now again, make sure your first layer of top coat completely dries before you put your second layer of top coat on. And I apologize for being out of frame. I did not know I was out of frame for the second layer of top coat, but yes, just your second layer of top coat, you can perfect your polish, you can encapsulate that free edge, and you can let that completely dry before you even touch anything. Because if you touch your second layer of top coat before it's dry, you will have an issue with your top coat. It won't dry in the area, and it will take whatever you have on your fingers. So here's the finished product. I loved this pink, you guys. This was such a pretty pink. It wasn't completely hot pink, but it wasn't completely pastel pink either. It was like an in-between. So my review on the peelable base, this is about 2 weeks later from the initial application, we are going to go in and see if we can peel this off. So for peeling, I started with the scraping tool, this and the cuticle pusher tool. I was having some issues with the thumb, and this is why I said it's up to you guys if you want to cover your full nail with the peelable base, because if you do that, it's going to be a little bit harder to get an edge up, and that's why you might want to consider having about an inch, not an inch, about a centimeter or so, 2 centimeters around the cuticle and around your side walls that doesn't have the peelable base, or that that does have the peelable base on there, because if you don't, then it's going to be a little bit harder to get off of there. But that wasn't the case for all of the nails, and it was about the tool that I used. This tool right here is a cuticle pusher as well, but this specific cuticle pusher had a smaller scraping tool at the end, and with that size of a scraping tool, I was able to get under the dip powder a lot easier, and I was able to kind of pop that dip powder off of the jelly tips easy. So in consensus, the peelable base does work. It works the way it says it does. It works well on gel polish. I know that for sure. And now I know that it does work on dip powder. And since I wasn't going to reuse these jelly tips and I was going to take these off, I decided to cut the edge, the free edge, with the clippers. That way I can get under the dip powder easier. And if you're not reusing a set or of jelly polish, or if you're using this on your natural nails and you're okay with cutting your free edge, go ahead and do so. It helped me with getting under the dip powder. But like I said, it's all up to you guys. For this video, the peelable base did work, and that's all we really cared about. So please let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so, and stay tuned for the next video, you guys. Peace.